I wanted to talk about the gay and lesbian, or if you want to say LGBTQ or LGBT community. And I wanted to focus on that community and also the African American LGBTQ community as well, primarily because there's a lot of bashing and there's a lot of hate in the black community that have LGBTQ people. It goes all the way back as far as Stonewall riots. So the Stonewall riots were called Stonewall Riot, Stonewall Uprising, Stonewall Rebellion. There was a series of spontaneous violent demonstrations by members of the gay LGBT community against a police raid that took place in the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, at the Stonewall Inn located in Greenwich Village, neighborhood of Manhattan, New York City. They are widely considered to constitute the single most important event leading to the gay liberation movement and the modern fight for the LGBTQ rights in the U.S. So, gay Americans in the 1950s and 1960s face anti gay legal systems. Even to today in 2017, there's still things that are happening. There's more inclusion. There was the passing of the gay marriage during the Obama era, but it's just like any social group, there's always room for more changes and more improvement. So, digressing, the groups in the U.S. sought to prove that gay people could assimilate into society, and they favored non confrontational education for homosexual and heterosexual alike. The last years of the 1960s, however, were very contentious years, as many social and political movements were very active and thriving, including African American civil rights movement and counterculture in 1960s and anti-Vietnam War movements. The influences, along with the liberal environment of Greenwich Village, served as a catalyst for the Stonewall riots. So there were some establishments that didn't really openly accept or welcome gay and lesbian community in the 1950s and 1960s, but those that did usually were bars. And even though that the manager, he may or she may not have been gay or lesbian, rarely at times, the Stonewall Inn back then was owned by the mafia. It catered to an assortment of patrons, and it was known to be a popular spot among the poorest and the most marginalized people in the gay community. And a lot of times, those people would be like drag queens, transgender people, effeminate young men, butch lesbians, and men who have been put out and they have nowhere else to go and how to make money, so they become male prostitutes and homeless youth, and they're also so police raids were often done on gay bars routinely in the 1960s, but officers quickly lost control of the situation during that Stonewall Inn event. So this is basically telling you the history of the Stonewall riots, and so that was the marker of gay liberation movement. So you have some people who are happy they're out and they're happy to be uh, honest about their life and who they are as a person, whether they're discriminated or not discriminated, or accepted, included or not included, or excluded. Now, there's a lot of social issues that are happening even right as of now as we speak, political issues right now as we speak in 2017 under these particular issues. But within the gay community, there's been a lot of ostracization. A lot of it comes from religion and distrust because of other people who were not honest about who they were, and they didn't. A lot of black people, a lot of people will say, oh, he was exposed or she was exposed. Well, you know, a lot of times, if people are honest about who they are, they get ostracized and bashed and they could be threatened their lives. So a lot of times people in the gay, lesbian, LGBTQ community will go underground, as you say, under the shadows, or live closeted. They won't disclose their sexual preference, gender preference of whom they want to have a relationship with. So some people, it seems maybe evident that they're gay or lesbian. They may be very open and honest about, and even if they're honest about who they are, some people, if they weren't honest, if they never said anything, it's evident that they're in the gay community. So some people are more flamboyant in their mannerisms. You can tell, others you cannot. They may be able to hide, or they may be able to be more closeted or more private with their personal preferences. So you're going to see photos of people who have disclosed their sexual identity, and they're anywhere from actors, celebrity personalities, stage hosts, talk show hosts, comedians, athletes, people who have been in the hip hop music industry. So we have RuPaul, we have Wanda Sykes, we have Sheryle Swoopes, Queen Latifah. We also have also other celebrities that have been on talk shows, and I didn't mention Brittany Griner, and also we have I was trying to think of her name, but she'll come up pretty soon. So I'll just get right on it. So there are some people who are proud to be who they are, and they are very vocal in the community. They've done a lot of good things to help people and to bring joy into people's lives. They've had anywhere from the business of being on movies and talk shows, giving advice, helping other gay, lesbian individuals, LGBTQ community upliftment. They've been involved in activism. They've been involved in different social events and outings. They've come out and expressed who they are and voiced their personal opinions about what they feel about being included in terms of social issues and political issues in the gay community. Some people are bisexual too, so that's why I say LGBT. So it could be a number of different individuals. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're just, gay is two men, lesbian is two women, bisexual, you could, 1 minute it could be a woman and she's in a relationship with another woman, and then maybe, later, if she's in another relationship, it could be with a male. Then it could be someone who they don't have like a label. There's something where people will say, oh, I don't want to be labeled. I don't want to have a label calling me a name of who I am, sexuality and what have you. I'm just gender queer, or so there's a lot of different terms that people will use to disclose their sexual preferences or the relationship preferences and what have you. And so we have some stories in the African American community that are pretty sad, and it hurts the gay community. It hurts the community as a whole. It hurts the African American community because there's already a lot of stigma. There's already a lot of hush hush. There's already a lot of tabooness. But now more people are coming out and admitting who they are, saying who they are, even with the brunt of backlash from some of the scandals that have happened. And I want to go straight into Eddie Long, because Eddie Long, he was a pastor of a church, a bishop. Eddie Long was a story that just, I guess, a lot of people were taken back by. Eddie Long, May 12, 1953 to January 15, 2017. of his death. He was an American pastor who served as senior pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. It was a mega church, unincorporated, DeKalb County, Georgia, from 1987 until his death in 2017. When Long started as a pastor at New Birth Church, there were 300 members in the beginning, but it grew very quickly to 25,000 members, and they're going. During this time, Long was subjected to a Senate investigation concerning whether he personally profited from his church's tax-exempt status, which eventually ended without a finding of wrongdoing. Also, he was in a civil lawsuit that was filed against him alleging sexual abuse of multiple underage members of his parish. Long denied the wrongdoing through his attorneys and privately settled the lawsuit out of court for undisclosed amounts. So I'm just going to go right into the allegations of sexual impropriety, which was September 2010. Maurice Robinson, Anthony Flagg, Jamal Paris, and Spencer LeGrande filed a lawsuits alleging that Long used a pastoral influence to coerce them into sexual relationship with him. The plaintiffs state that Long placed the men on the church's payroll and bought them cars and other gifts, including overseas trips. The lawsuit stated that Long would discuss the Holy Scripture to justify and support the sexual activity and behavior. So Long denied the allegations through his attorneys and spokesman, prepared a statement. In that prepared statement, Long had stated, "I have devoted my life in helping others, and these false allegations hurt me deeply." On September 26, Long spoke to the New Birth congregation, but he did not address the issue directly. He spoke of the painful times and said that he'd been accused, he's under attack, and "I want you to know, as I said earlier, I am not a perfect person or a perfect man, but this thing I'm going to fight." Long's unwillingness to address the accusations by name prompted a group of 70 people headed by a pastor of a small South Carolina church to hold a protest rally on the steps of Georgia State Capitol October 31st, 2010, calling for Long's resignation. Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported that May 2011, the lawsuits were settled out of court and terms were undisclosed. Later, the media outlets indicated that Santino Kemp was the fifth accuser, who had also settled out. On May 30th, 2011, the episode of the documentary series Sex Scandals and Religion aired on a Canadian television network called Vision TV. It took the investigative look at the allegations of sexual behavior that was inappropriate and Long with the young men in his care. So he had a series of events that happened throughout his life, which led him to the extreme weight loss. You see the beginning pictures and then the after effect. And then you're going to see the next look before he actually passed in 2017. And so you see that he looks very thin and frail. So January 15, 2017, Eddie Long passed away. It was said that in the beginning he was trying to lose weight. They showed several clips of him, videos of him, commentary of him talking about he was on some type of special diet. And then there were accusations that he might have caught something from some of the guys that he was sleeping with. Maybe he was sleeping with several guys outside of the ones that accused him at random. So there was a lot of speculation and a lot of distrust. So with that being said, in the African American community, there are gay, lesbian people, there are LGBTQ people, there's a lot of discrimination, hate bashing, but there are people who want to be treated inclusively. They want to be treated as equal. They want to be known as human beings. They don't want to be mistreated. Everybody is not about scandal. But unfortunately, you do have people who can't be honest. They live closeted, and they can't be honest and outright about their personal preference of who they choose. Now, had he had been a person who had picked a mate and the mate had been male, it would have been an ongoing relationship with the one individual. It may not have been as punitive as it was as what had happened. So this fellow is Andrew Caldwell. There is a scandal out about him. Andrew Caldwell had stated that he was in a situation where a woman by the name of Portia Williams, her husband Cordell Stewart, he accused Cordell Stewart, Andrew Caldwell, said that they had oral sex, and there was a big lawsuit. And it goes recently that Andrew Caldwell was ordered to pay Cordell Stewart a large lump sum of money for the accusations of accusing him of oral sex. So there's Cordell Stewart in the bubble below, and then there's Andrew Caldwell. So there's a lot of scandal behind this man at the top. He had claimed in the first photo of him, he said that he was no longer gay. But if you look, he's been on Facebook, he's been on social media all over the place. There's lots of different things that even now today that have transpired. There's a leaked tape. There's a lot of things that have come out about him as well. So this hurts the gay community. A lot of times we don't know if these people are just equal, what you call equal opportunists in terms of money. In the gay community of African Americans, it's like you have money. It goes without saying. People are opportunists whenever it benefits them, if they can gain money and a lot of fame and fortune. So this man right here, I didn't mention his name. His name is Antoine Dotson. And Hide the Kids, Hide the Wife. He was on a YouTube video for something years back where there was someone that broke into their home. You could read more about it. And then you have Raven Simone. She's a show host. There's been a lot of things with her. Some of her political statements didn't sit too well with the African American community, and she's an out lesbian. With digressing with Antoine Dotson, he's also another one, sort of like Andrew Caldwell. He says that he claims he's no longer gay, but you let the photos do the talking. He doesn't dress the way he used to dress, but people are people. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, talks like the duck, sounds like the duck, it is a duck. I'll say that. But anyway, there's been a lot of distrust with this particular group of people in terms of credibility, some of the things that they say, or there's been distrust in terms of their political views and how they view the world. Even Raven Simone says, "Oh, I'm not black, I'm African American." So there's lots of things that have come to the forefront that has not sit well. A lot of that hurts the LGBTQ black community, because you are not the spokesperson for LGBTQ black community. So let me get this clear. You are actually hurting not only yourself, but you're hurting a community, because there's not enough education and not enough know-how in the community when it comes to African American LGBTQ people. So there's lots of hate crime that is persistent, and there's a lot of haters, and there's a lot of people who are bashing people of color just for skin color. But now when you add LGBTQ into the mix, there's also the double hate that you get within the community from other peers that are black, such as yourselves. So if you happen to be a LGBTQ person and you're African American, and your culture and your social background and ethnic background is African American, you also sometimes will experience some backlash or some hate from people who are also African American that are hetero, that don't have enough education about people in that community. So it's just life lessons, and then learning, and then people need to look at documentaries, they need to read, they need to explore more, go out to a function, maybe to a parade, learn more about the culture of gay culture, of lesbian culture, learn more about the people, because just like even hetero people, you have people that are straight that are good people and people that are straight that are bad people. So it's the same within the LGBTQ community, and that also going on to say with black community that are in the LGBTQ community. There are good LGBTQ black people that just want to be married, they want to be included, they want to be with one individual that happens to be of the same gender or has a like-minded thinking, but people need to be educated about the African American LGBTQ community.